The long road ahead shall carry us to distant corners of the earth. Yet no matter where we wander, I shall be the third star of the Big Dipper, a flame that burns through all seasons, lighting your way. One in 1916, on Salisbury Road in Hong Kong. Next to the Asia Drama Academy stood the World Fashion Company. Grand names they were, but in truth, the Drama Academy was hardly Asian, nor the fashion house worldly. Tripod and they were nothing more than two shabby large houses, a desperately poor upper room and an equally penniless Western-style tailor shop. The opera troupe wore its poverty plainly for all to see, while the tailor shop hid its destitution behind an air of decency. The troupe had one master and 10 apprentices. All year round, they wore nothing but coarse cloth uniforms with Asia Drama Academy printed in red characters on their backs. In the tailor shop lived a mother and daughter. The daughter's clothes were always new, with each season simple, modest Western dresses, not at all expensive. The 10 apprentices studied opera full minus time. The tailor's daughter, however, attended St. Mary's Can Ashram College. Every dusk, when she walked home from school, the 10 apprentices would press themselves against the wall to watch. Around the corner she would appear. Her school uniform dress was pure white. The strip of skin between her hem and socks was even fairer. Her steps in black leather shoes were light, her school bag tapping gently against her slender back and shoulders in time with her walk. On hot summer days, she would lift an arm to wipe sweat in the sunset glow. The fine down on her arm glinted soft and golden. The 10 boys would stare dumbfounded, only scrambling down resentfully when their master's slaps landed one by one on their necks. Yulu Khan was the last to move, so his slap stung the worst. It still ached when he lay down to sleep. His master had been a martial opera singer in his youth, and his hands carried real strength. The eldest apprentice leaned over and whispered in his ear, "Still sore? Master was brutal. That chick's nothing but a calamitous beauty." Her name, the calamitous beauty, was Margaret. Yulu Khan quietly defended her. "I think she's quite nice." The eldest apprentice scoffed. "Nice? She looks down on everyone. Just a poor tailor's daughter who thinks she's a princess." The second apprentice joined in, grinning as he exposed the eldest's embarrassment. "Little Six, you didn't know? Yesterday the eldest bought Margaret a soda, and she didn't even glance at him." Yulu Khan stared at the eldest apprentice in surprise, astonished at Margaret's aloofness, and even more at the eldest's boldness. The eldest apprentice lay down awkwardly, turned over, and muttered, "What's so great about her? She lives right next door to us anyway." From the doorway their master roared, "What time is it? Still awake? Early practice tomorrow." The lights went out. In the darkness, Yulu Khan lay flat on his back, hands resting on his chest outside the quilt, staring at the ceiling. What did Margaret look like when she turned someone down? Were her teeth as white as her arms? Did her breath carry the scent of silk tree flowers? Next door, the eldest apprentice mumbled in his sleep, "Annoying little thing. He'll get even with her sooner or later." Yulu Khan soon found out the eldest apprentice meant what he said. The eldest ruled the neighborhood, and all the kids on the street obeyed him. Before long, Margaret was ostracized. The isolation among teenagers carried a sting of humiliation. Whenever Margaret walked past, groups of children would scatter at once, jeering, "Ugh, what a stench. Did a fox spirit pass by?" Yulu Khan felt ashamed of the eldest's behavior, and embarrassed for Margaret's suffering. But Margaret did not care. She held her head high, walked with her gaze straight ahead, never speeding up or slowing her pace. She treated them like air. After all, you cannot hurt someone who cares nothing for you. Yulu Khan spoke to Margaret for the first time in the summer of his second year at the Asia Drama Academy. It was an afternoon. His master had sent him to deliver a message to the theater manager. The theater was far away, and by the time he headed back, dusk was near. June weather shifts like a child's mood. One moment clear skies, the next dark clouds gathering, rain pouring down heavily. Luckily, his master could read the sky and had told him to bring an umbrella. Yulu Khan opened it and dashed into the rain, only to spot Margaret a few steps away. She was sheltering under a street eave, still in her white school dress. The eave was narrow and rain had soaked the hem. Sticking it to her calves, she held her black school bag over her head, huddling as far back as she could. Yulu-kun hesitated for a moment, then rushed over to greet her Hayam. He braced himself for a cold glare. But the girl cut him off, her voice clear and crisp. "You're little six, from the opera school." Yulu-kun froze, then smiled. "Yes, I'm little six. My real name is Yulu-kun. I'm going back to the opera school. It's on your way. Want to share my umbrella home?" Margaret smiled gently and did not refuse. Later, Yulu-kun mentioned this to her. "I thought you'd turn me down. I thought you hated everyone on the street." Margaret smiled softly and said slowly, "No, you never joined in their silly games. I noticed. To life at the opera school was bitter." A master was in his 40s. In his youth, he had been a famous opera star in Beijing and Tianjin. Later he came to Hong Kong, and as he aged he performed less and less, opening this opera school to take on apprentices. Before 5 every morning, the 10 brothers had to get up for practice. When Yulu-kun first arrived, the leg-minus stretching pain made him scream like a stuck pig. Still unsatisfied, the master told the eldest apprentice, who was stretching Yulu-kun's legs, "To push harder when I was your age? I was already on stage back then. You signed a life minus in minus death contract to join an opera troupe. Disobey the master, and you could be beaten to death with no consequences." Learning opera meant enduring extreme hardship. Whether or not you eventually rose above others, all 10 brothers came from poor families. Yulu-kun, for instance, was orphaned and abandoned at the school by relatives who could not stand him. Among them, the 7th apprentice was the most talented, little six. Yulu-kun himself had only average ability. Starting late and lacking talent, he often made mistakes. The master had a terrible temper, and mistakes meant punishment. The punishment was going without meals, the cruelest yet most effective torture for teenage boys. One day, Yulu-kun messed up his practice again and was ordered to skip dinner. Hungry and unable to sleep late into the night, he crept out of bed and went to the courtyard to try to quiet his stomach with the night wind. A wall separated the opera school from the tailor shop. On the other side grew silk tree flowers. It was blooming season. Branches stretched over the wall, clouds of pink blossoms trembling softly in the night breeze. Suddenly, a faint meow sounded. Yulu-kun had sharp ears and immediately knew someone was pretending. He jumped up and climbed onto the wall. "Who is there?" On the other side, a pair of eyes sparkled with laughter as they looked up at him. Yulu-kun lifted himself onto the wall with a push of his arms, then reached down to pull Margaret up. They sat together on the wall, surrounded by silk tree blossoms, with the crescent moon above. Yulu-kun suddenly thought of an old opera. "Romance on the Wall. Who smiles for you upon the wall? Do not break our garden tryst tonight." He burst out laughing. Margaret stared at him confused. "What are you laughing at?" Yulu-kun sobered his expression and said seriously, "Nothing." "What did you call me for?" Margaret pulled her hand out of her pocket. "Here. To thank you for the umbrella the other day." In her small palm lay a tiny cake. Cakes in the 1960s had no cream, just plain sponge wrapped gently in a thin paper liner. Every fold of the paper was tempting, its fragrance overpowering that of the silk tree blossoms. Starving, Yulu-kun devoured the cake in a few bites, licked his fingers clean, then reluctantly chewed the wrapper, trying to scrape off every last crumb with his teeth and tongue. Their master was poor. Even the occasional treat was mung bean cakes. Western pastries like this were a luxury to Yulu-kun. Margaret rested her chin in her hands, watching him eat. "Is it good?" Yulu-kun mumbled through the paper in his mouth. "It's tasty, but not as filling as a steamed bun." Margaret giggled. "Silly.